Sex with a narcissist. This is a very complex topic, so I plan on going into a lot of different things in this video. The first thing that I want to mention is that narcissists don't have the ability to be genuinely emotionally intimate. So if they appear like they're doing that, they're faking it. They actually do not want to cuddle before or after sex. They don't want to make eye contact during sex. They don't want to kiss during sex. This is something that I definitely had an issue with in the relationship with the narcissist in my life. We didn't have any actual emotional intimacy or connection during sex. Like I said, there was no cuddling or eye contact or kissing on his part. And it was something that bothered me. It was something I noticed right away. So you'll notice that it feels like there's a wall up between you and the narcissist when you're trying to be intimate. Now, if you're just having regular sex, that's pretty much what sex with a narcissist consists of. There's no love making. There's a difference between sex and making love. They don't like to make love. They don't want to be doing that. To them, it's almost like torture because they have to fake it all. So they have to fake having an emotional connection with you. They have to fake, looking at you in the eyes and doing all of these things to pretend that they're in love with you. And they hate that. They do not want to be doing that. So you'll notice that the narcissist tends to just have sex. They don't tend to want to make love and be passionate and intimate. Narcissists are very selfish. I mean, that's one of the hallmarks of narcissistic personality disorder is they pretty much only look out for themselves. So this includes anything in the bedroom. They're going to be selfish in bed. So they're not really going to care about pleasing you or doing things that you like to do. That maybe they're into certain sex acts that you don't really find pleasurable, things that you don't really want to be doing, but they find it pleasurable. So that's what they're going to want to do. In my relationship, my ex never pleased me, ever. So you'll notice that they're very selfish. Another thing that they do is they use sex kind of as a weapon. They use sex to control you. A lot of times it's common for a narcissist to cut you off as a means to control and manipulate you. And this is something that you'll see during the devaluation stage with a narcissist. During the love bombing stage, they're really going to be amping up their sex drive. It's almost kind of like off the charts in the beginning. This is where they're obsessed with you. They have you up on that pedestal. You can't really do any wrong. So they are pretty much all over you in the beginning. They'll want to have sex every single day. They are obsessed. It's like you're a drug. They're in this euphoric state and they can't get enough of you. So you'll notice that in the beginning stages with a narcissist, they want to have sex every day with you. They cannot get enough of you. Once they transition into that devaluation stage, that's when they start using it as a manipulation tactic. They give you the silent treatment in the relationship. Once they start devaluing you, they just sort of cut you off. They won't even communicate with you. This is something that my ex did. He would literally sit in the same room with me and just have nothing to say. You can ask them questions, they won't answer you. They'll just sit there pissed off about some imaginary reason and they won't even speak to you. So they're not going to have sex with you during these times either. So this is when they're really going to be cutting you off from sex to hurt you and use this to make you feel not good enough, to make you feel rejected. You'll try to make moves and initiate any sort of physical or sexual contact, and they'll just shut it down. They will just be like, get off of me. I don't want to do it. I'm not in the mood. Leave me alone. And they do that to hurt you. They know that it makes you feel rejected. It is rejection. They're pushing you away. And then you start getting paranoid where you're kind of like, okay, if they're not getting it from me, where are they getting it from? which goes into the next topic, is they cheat. Narcissists are huge cheaters. Even if you think they're not cheating, I'm telling you they're cheating, because you have to remember their whole thing is to get fuel, to get supply, all of that. And so if they're not getting that from you, like if they're giving you the silent treatment and they're devaluing you and they're looking at you like you basically disgust them, they don't want anything to do with you, they're not having sex with you, they're getting something from somewhere else. They're getting that positive fuel from some other source because it's not you anymore. So now they're like distancing themselves from you. They don't want to be intimate with you. They don't want to even communicate with you. They want nothing to do with you. So they're probably out cheating. Now, in my relationship with my ex, I thought cheating was something he would never ever do because he expressed that to me constantly. He constantly talked about cheaters, friends of his, people that he knew that cheated, how it disgusted him. It made him just sick. He didn't want to be friends with cheaters. Um, you know, he would put things on social media. It's not like he hid the relationship from people. A lot of times you hear that people don't want to make a relationship, Facebook official or something like that. And it's almost like they're hiding the relationship. And with my ex, he was like promoting the relationship. He was putting it out there anywhere he could put it. And so that made me feel like, well, okay, he's not hiding the fact that he's in a relationship. So therefore, if he was looking to cheat on me, why would he be putting all of this stuff out there saying, hey, I'm not single? And I have to say that was a great manipulation tactic on his part because it really did make me feel like he would never be cheating on me. Meanwhile, he was totally cheating. So even if you think, maybe the narcissist is sitting there telling you, oh my God, cheaters make me sick, and they have pictures of you all over social media, and it doesn't appear like they're talking to anyone else. You would be very surprised at what they're able to sneak around and get away with. I ended up finding out that my ex was cheating on me with his friend's girlfriend, and he also cheated with two other girls that the one I found out about, and the other one he admitted it to me when he rage texted me after we broke up. And I'm sure that there's ones that I don't even know about. I mean, if they're going to cheat on you with one person, they have no qualms about cheating on you. So why wouldn't they cheat on you with 5 people, however many people they can get? They're serial cheaters. So they're probably having sex with somebody else. If they're devaluing you and they're not having sex with you, they have sex with prostitutes. These people will have sex literally with anybody. And it's very common for them to have sex with prostitutes. Again, my ex cheated on me with a prostitute. So, and in a million years, I never would have thought that would have happened ever. He always presented himself as somebody who, for one, he lied about how many sexual partners he had. He pretended that he hadn't had sex with that many people at all. Anyway, it turned out to be a total lie. He banged everything that moved. And I never thought he would have sex with a prostitute, but he did. And that's something that you will see that is common from narcissists. Narcissists don't like intimacy. They hate it. They don't want emotional intimacy and they don't want the sexual intimacy. They just want the sex. So the reason they have sex with prostitutes is because a prostitute doesn't want an emotional connection with someone, with one of her clients. She wants the money. It's a very transactional thing between a sex worker and a client. They want the money, the guys want that sexual release, and that's the end of it. There's no emotional connection, there's no feelings involved. And so that really fits perfect with a narcissist if you think about it, because they don't want to have an emotional connection with you. They just want that physical release. Every time they're having sex with you, it's just because they want to release that tension, if you will. And they don't want any kind of emotional ties to anybody. So that's why a lot of them do have sex with prostitutes, because it really fits them perfectly for what they're looking for. It's very common for narcissists to have STDs because they do sleep around. They like to they engage in high risk behavior. That's what they do. That's why you'll notice they do drugs. They do, they're a radical. They drive very erratic and crazy and they're speeding all over. And um, that's like a weird thing that I've heard in my support group, that they're all like terrible drivers. So I don't know if that's like some weird thing that they all have, but it's interesting because that was true with my ex as well. He literally had like 30 speeding tickets, and I'm not joking. He got his license taken away, and he was a terrible driver. And so that's kind of weird. I don't know. I kind of think that's like one of the hallmarks. I think most narcissists drive like really crazy. So they're into that, like, kind of high risk, crazy behavior. And having unprotected sex, you don't get any riskier than that. You don't get any high risk behavior. I mean, that's pretty much as crazy as it gets. In this day and age, to be like having unprotected sex with random people, that's pretty crazy. And narcissists feel empty. They have like that black pit in them, and that's why they use sex and drugs and all of these like various things to make themselves numb. They want to numb that emptiness and that self-loathing and that shame that they feel inside. So they engage in these crazy activities to kind of get that adrenaline rush and to sort of not feel like they hate themselves for 5 minutes, anything to numb that feeling they'll do. And sex is a great numbing tool for a narcissist. And they like doing high risk things. So they won't wear condoms. And not only will they have unprotected sex, but they'll have it with pretty much as many partners as they can find. They're not really gonna reject somebody like throwing themselves at them. Like if somebody comes up to the narcissist and is pretty much like, "Hey, I think you're hot and I want to sleep with you." They're like, "Okay, cool. I get fuel and supply from this person. This is awesome." So pretty much they will sleep with anyone, anytime, anywhere. They don't care. They don't care if they have condoms or not. They probably prefer that they don't because they're just creepy and they just love doing high risk, creepy behaviors. And it is very common for them to have STDs. And if they do have STDs, you'll notice that they will purposely try to spread them to people. This is something I've seen in my support group many times. And this happened to me as well. My ex gave me an STD. He knew he had it. He never told me about it. I believe he purposely gave it to me. And when I broke up with him, he immediately had a new girlfriend like 2 days later. And I ended up finding out that he slept with her without condoms. He never disclosed. He had 2 different diseases. And he never told her about either disease that he had. And I found out from another person that my ex tried to give this person a particular disease that he carried. And I wasn't really shocked because pretty much after I found out the truth about my ex, nothing really surprises me anymore. So it's been my experience anyway, that in my relationship, that my ex purposely tried to spread his diseases to others. And he's not the only one. I've seen this in my support group. So if you have messed around with somebody that you think is a narcissist, whether you've had a full blown relationship, just a sexual, like a friends with benefits, whatever, if you've basically encountered a narcissist in any sexual way, please get tested. I never thought in a million years I would get an STD from somebody, but I did. So please go get checked. Another thing that narcissists are super into is porn, masturbation. They will be a sex addict. And the porn fits into devaluation again. This is something I've seen in my support group where a lot of women will say, my husband or boyfriend quit having sex with me. So again, earlier I mentioned how they use sex as a weapon and they use it to control you. They cut you off from sex and it makes you feel rejected and not good enough. So while they're cutting you off and making you feel rejected, they're becoming obsessed with porn in a lot of cases. And again, that just makes you feel rejected even more. You start comparing yourself to the women in the videos. You think, "Oh, I don't look good enough. He wants me to look like this woman. He's not attracted to me. He doesn't want to have sex with me anymore. He would rather masturbate and look at these girls rather than sleep with me." And that really makes you feel like crap about yourself. That really devalues somebody. And that's what they're all about. That's what they want to do. They want to hurt you. They want to make you feel like crap. They want to make you feel rejected and not good enough. And not sleeping with you and choosing to just watch some like girl in a video, that hurts. That makes you feel like crap and that totally makes you feel rejected. So they love that. So it's very common that you'll notice they just masturbate to porn a lot. And especially when they're not sleeping with you and they're trying to control and manipulate and hurt you. Um, a lot of times they will try to talk you into sex acts that you don't want to do. A lot of times, a narcissist might want you to get into swinging or maybe have threesomes or just do certain sex acts with just the two of you that are things that you don't find pleasurable or things that maybe you might find degrading. And again, this is just to devalue you. They don't want to please you. I mentioned earlier how they're very selfish lovers and they don't care about your pleasure. So again, if they're trying to talk you into sex acts or make you do things like swinging or having sex with other partners or watching other people have sex with you and they're trying to degrade you and make you feel like crap about yourself and they're sex things that you don't want to do. Like, whatever you're into, cool. If you guys want to go and do whatever, that's awesome. But if you don't want to do something and the narcissist does, and they know that you don't want to do this, and they nag you about it. And a lot of times they'll say, well, if you don't do this, I'll find someone who will. And they threaten you that, well, if you don't do these certain sex acts, I'm going to end the relationship. That is like abuse, okay? They're trying to make you do sex things that you don't want to be doing, and they're threatening you with ending the relationship or threatening you with cheating. And so a lot of times it works. It makes someone feel like, you know what? Well, if I don't do it, he's going to just leave me anyway. So maybe I'll just go and do these things to make him happy, to get him off my back. And again, that's just horrible to be treated that way. And you do not need to be putting up with that. You don't. And then you start getting into the darker, even more disturbing aspects of the narcissist sexual fantasies or whatever. A lot of times you'll hear that they're like peeping toms. Maybe they like are spying on the neighbor across the street. They're just doing like weird stuff. Or a lot of times I've heard of narcissists even like installing cameras in the house to watch like their wife or girlfriend. And they'll like find these like hidden cameras and they're like watching you undress and just doing like really weird, creepy things. And then you start getting into a lot of narcissists are pedophiles. A lot of them could be rapists. If you're a pedophile or a rapist, you have a need for power and control, and you pretty much have no conscience. If you had a conscience, you could not hurt somebody like that and force them to do some sex acts that somebody doesn't want to do. That's not normal. So if you're a rapist or a pedophile, you're probably a narcissist and a sociopath because you clearly have no conscience. And you're clearly into that power and control and domination and all of that creepy stuff that goes along with it. And those are qualities that narcissists have. They want to control, they want to inflict pain. So there's like a lot of stuff when it comes to sex with a narcissist. I mean, anywhere from, just things like cheating and the sort of lack of intimacy that they'll have and all that. But then you get into the darker, seedier stuff, like finding out that they could be a pedophile or a rapist. I'm in a support group for narcissistic abuse survivors. And this is something that I've seen in the support group where women have gotten in there and said, I ended up finding out that, my ex was actually a pedophile. I ended up finding out that my ex-husband raped somebody. And you're like, wow, and they had no idea. And they would be shocked and be like, I had no idea that he was like a pedophile or that, they found like child pornography on their computer. And they're just even more disgusted. So this is something that I have seen in my support group. When it comes to a narcissist, you're dealing with somebody who has no conscience, no remorse, no empathy. They're capable of anything. They enjoy inflicting pain. They don't want to make you happy. They don't want to provide you pleasure. So sex with a narcissist, in my opinion, is never going to be good. I don't see how it could be if there's no true connection and there's no love there and there's no genuine intimacy. It's like having sex with a robot. And that's how sex was with my ex. I described it as like you could peel me away and put a blow up doll in my place or any object in my place, and he would perform and behave the exact same way during sex. There was no eye contact, there was no kissing, there was no intimacy, there was no love, there was no connection. He was just doing it like a rabbit, doing his pumps, and then he would be done in 30 seconds, roll over, and that was the end of it. It was literally horrific. And I felt so used when it was over. I felt like an object that he used, and that was it. And that's what a lot of survivors of narcissistic abuse compare it to, that it's like having sex with a robot, and you do feel used and empty afterwards. I don't believe that sex with a narcissist can be good, because for me, I would need to feel an emotional connection. And with a narcissist, it never goes that deep. They can't fake that. You know, you could fake a lot of things. You can fake saying words, you can fake I love yous, and you can fake all of that, but you can't fake the feeling. And that's the one thing they can't ever do. And you can feel when something is off. And during sex, when it's supposed to be this emotional, deep connection, you can feel that your partner does not have that. And that was the first thing I noticed when I had sex with my ex. So you might be noticing some of that going on. Maybe you caught your ex cheating. Maybe you've caught them with prostitutes. Maybe they gave you an STD. Maybe they're addicted to porn and sex and masturbation. Maybe you found out that they're into the seedier, really disturbing stuff like being a pedophile. Um, if you have a narcissist in your life, you literally just have to get away from them. They won't change. They can't change. You can't help them. And if you've dealt with a narcissist, please go get checked for everything under the sun, because even if you think they haven't cheated, and even if you think that you don't have anything or they don't have anything, you can never be sure, because you don't really know what they're up to. They are master liars, cheaters, and manipulators. So they're never going to come to you and say, hey, I have this STD. I just thought you should know. They're never going to say that to you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of long, but I wanted to cover the different topics of things that you might encounter when you're dealing with sex and a narcissist. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.